Nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, Fugazi. It's a fake.
Yeah, fugazi, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
The production possibility curve is a basic economy model which shows the trade-offs society or an individual faces in how to use scarce resources. One of the main basic economic models is the circular flow model, which describes the flow of money and products throughout the economy in a very simplified way. The model represents all of the actors in the economy as either household or firms, and it divides market into two categories. The first one is market for goods and service. The second one is market for factors and production. The aggregate demand curve used in macroeconomy shows the relationship between the overall price level in an economy, usually represented by the GDP deflator, and the total amount of all goods produced in an economy. Specifically, the aggregate demand curve shows real GDP, which represents both total output and total income in an economy. Market equilibrium. A price above the equilibrium note that there is an excess quantity or surplus, called price floor. At prices below this equilibrium, note that there is an excess quantity demanded or shortage, called price ceiling. GDP is a dollar value of all final goods and services produced in a country's borders in a given year. GDP equal to consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net export. O'Quinn's law is 1% increase in the natural rate of employment equals a 2% decrease in GDP. Unemployment. There are four different kinds of unemployment. The first one is frictional unemployment. Unemployment due to the natural friction of economy, represented by qualified individuals with transferable skill who change job. The second one is structural unemployment. Unemployment due to structural change in the economy or eliminate some jobs and create others for which unemployment are unqualified. The third one is seasonal unemployment. Unemployment due to seasonal trends. The fourth one is cyclical unemployment. Unemployment due to constructions in economy. The inflation resulting from an increase in your aggregate demand is called demand pull inflation. These sources of decrease in aggregate supply operate by increasing costs, and the resulting inflation is called cost push inflation. Phillips curve is a negative relationship between inflation and unemployment. When unemployment is low, inflation is high. When unemployment is high, inflation is low.
Microeconomics is a way to look at the economy at a national scale using the ADAS model. It is a defense for the market system that provides analysis of what is going wrong without abandoning the whole system. One of the microeconomics policies is fiscal policy. It is laws designed to stabilize the economy, which is strengthened by its sticky characteristics through government spending and taxation. Non-discretionary policies, or automatic stabilizers, are existing laws that can be used to adjust government spending and taxes, such as unemployment benefits, tax rates set on different incomes. On the other hand, discretionary policy is creating new laws to adjust government spending and taxes. Monetary policies are used by the Federal Reserve Bank to control the country's money supply and interest rate. The reserve requirement is percentage of banks' total deposit from households that must be kept in reserve in the Federal Reserve Bank. Lowering this required ratio can boost consumption. The government bond is an yield liquid asset that cannot be directly used for consumption. Through open market operation, the Federal Reserve can buy or sell bonds to commercial banks to control the money supply. When the Fed buys bonds, liquid money is injected into the economy. Discount rate is the interest rate on short-term loans from the Federal Reserve to commercial banks. Lowering this interest rate will make more money available to the banks. Those can also boost consumption. The business cycle is the periodic but irregular up and down movements in economic activity, measured by movements in real GDP and other microeconomic variables. During expansion, GDP rises more rapidly than the long-run trend. After the peak, GDP begins to decline. During contraction, recession takes place, such as deflation and rising unemployment. After the trough, recession ends and growth resumes. International trade differs from domestic trade because each nation uses a different currency. The problem is resolved with foreign exchange markets where money used by one nation can be traded for another nation's money. This money is then used for foreign travel, buying foreign goods and services, and doing foreign investment. Use China and US as an example. When China's goods and services become very attractive to US consumers, Chinese RMB will be appreciated, since it is needed to purchase the goods and services produced by China. On the other hand, the US dollar will be depreciated, and the supply of dollar has to increase.